Namaste, everyone. Good morning. I have my hot water, which is a little warm today. My bed is made, and I have my space. It was harder for me to wake up today. I didn't sleep so well. There was some noise, both externally outside and internally. And I wanted to acknowledge the concept of time as we typically, at least in the West, visualize time and progress. Usually x-axis, right, represents time, and positive trajectory and progress is this upward slope. You know, the more stable and constant, the better. And that doesn't necessarily represent life, right? So I invite you to reconsider how we conceptualize time, how we present time, maybe in a circle, maybe a little wobbly around, and yet we still arrive and practice, because where we find agency and control may not necessarily be in the ability to control everything around us, but what we can do and where we can find empowerment and I like the word agency is in ourselves, compassionate with ourselves if we don't feel so great, so prepared and alive jumping out of bed, you know, or otherwise through the day. So the fact that you've arrived is a thing to thank yourself for. Because if we change internally ourselves to be in the best possible state, and maybe it's not magic, right? Maybe we're not always like singing a song and dance, but when we can feel grounded, when we may have interaction or experiences that are challenging, if we can handle it, it might shape the way that others receive us, and vice versa. And then we start to see a flip, right? And not to diminish the concept of a viral concept, but it's a positive way to consider how fast things can change if each of us takes care of ourselves. So those of us, for example, that are self-employed, that are, you know, teachers and writers who are making our own way, workers who can't work remotely, I'm even thinking of landlords and renters and situations there, and we see ourselves in various positions in various places. Those of us that are handling unforeseen circumstances that are challenging. It's a way to really just remember we all have multiple roles. So if you find yourself in a role situation, much like I'm also managing as well, remember, you know, that all of us are carrying various roles. And perhaps that can help us reground, take time, and manage as best as we can. So I'd like to offer a practice of observation, of letting whatever we need to go, and transformation as positively as possible in today's short practice. I'm Rena, by the way, if I didn't meet you yet. So I have a towel like yesterday. It's a small towel. And you can do this seated or you can do this standing if you want to, and the towel is optional, don't need to do it. I'm creating first a fold and then a loose, very loose roll. Cinnamon roll. Oh my gosh, I want a cinnamon roll. With the seam at the bottom. And it's kind of flat and soft, and this is something that I can place under my back. Notice it's not too wide, right? So if you have a really large towel, we're going to place it under the spine, and that might feel like a little too much, so if so, skip it. If you have it available, place it onto the place that you're lying back. Or if you want to, you can go up against the wall and sit against the wall with this along the spine. So you'll place it at the small of your back. And when I don't sleep well, you'll probably hear more clearing happen, which is normal, so just letting that be normal for you too, if that's the case from time to time. Relax down. We need to readjust. Should feel like opening, not constriction. So just above the triangular shaped bone at the base of the spine so that it sits gently onto the spine. Relax the arms alongside of you. The feet are a little bit wide apart and the knees can come together to touch. You can keep the eyes open if you want to a point on the ceiling if you have others to care for, or if you just want to, if it makes you feel safer. And if you're creating constriction, let the arms roll open. Let the shoulder blades come together to kiss behind you, and let the palms be open, receiving. So with eyes open or closed, take a moment to observe. How do you feel? What tensions exist? And so we'll simultaneously start to transform the breath and see how it affects the mind and the body, and we'll also begin to let go through that breath as well. So you can leave the arms alongside of you. You can bring one hand to belly, one hand to chest. Breathe in all the way, and we'll increase pace. If it's too much, just breathe normally. Breathe out through nose or mouth with gentle constriction if you like. Breathe in all the way. And breathe out all the way. Like a wave, this time a little faster than yesterday. Breathe in. And breathe out. A couple more rounds. Breathe in. Out. Let it go. Breathe in. And breathe out all the way. Really relax the jaw as you breathe out. Rest the arms alongside of you if they're not already. And just take a moment again to observe, maintain, notice how you feel. So these practices, these simple observations or maintenances, transformation, letting go, these are the elements that we can see and observe in everything in the world, inside of ourselves, cell replication and cell death, right, as it recreates inside of our own system. And we see it all around us, the seasons. So this is what we're practicing now. And it's an ongoing practice, which is why we say yoga is a practice and not something we're done with. It's all the time. Bring the knees into your chest if you like. So if the towel is behind your back, you'll still feel a little bit of pressure there, and that can be productive pressure if you want. Keep the arms and shoulders drawing down so that you stay open while you can draw the knees into the chest. If you don't like the towel there, just roll over to the side. You can pull it out and keep it handy. And you can take some gentle circles one direction and the other. This just massages the low back, the whole back. You can also wiggle the toes and feet as you do this, just releasing any of that tense energy. I tend to wake up with that. And then widen the knees, open if you want to. Again, just creating some space in the hamstrings if you want to. This time you can bring the hamstrings. Yesterday we did a happy baby. We can do one where we lift the feet up toward the sky. If that's too much, you can also just hold the backs of the thighs and lift as much as you like, or feels okay. Keeping the space, we'll take a gentle twist. So bringing the knees into, actually first we'll bring the feet down to the floor, and then lift the hips up a couple of inches over to your left, set them back down on the ground. Before we twist, we tend to create tightness in the backs of the knees. I'd love for you to feel space there. So you can open and close there and arrive at, now we're thinking very mathematically today, create a perpendicular space behind the legs, and then you can start to rotate over to the right. If it feels like too much of a twist, if you have a back injury, then you can bring a pillow or a cushion underneath the knees, or even this small amount of support can soften how much of a twist you feel under the knees. If it hurts, if it doesn't feel right, trust the body and just rest with your arms alongside the body in a neutral spine. You can open the arms in a T. If you don't have space, a cactus shape works. Breathe into the twist, breathing in and breathing out. If your eyes stay open, which I recommend, this is called a practice of dharana. So a concentration that's actually fixated on something, and this time just externally envisioning a point. And then you can start to create space in the back of the neck here as you continue to breathe. Keep the space in the backs of the knees. And then start to rotate so that we create neck release over to the left. If it feels like too much here, you can keep looking up toward the ceiling. Breathe in and breathe out. Continue like that on your own. So twists are nice because it's actually like we're wringing out, even in the actual physical system, but in our energetic system, emotional, mental system, wringing out what doesn't serve us and letting it go. And if there's a relationship or experience that we experience in confinement where we feel crunched, this is a chance to just wring out, let it go. What are the things, where am I gonna, it's that pick your battles concept. What can I just, it's behind us. What am I gonna let go? And as we untwist, feel that release. So this is a nice exercise for the spine, especially in today's day and age. So reground, neutralize, notice how you feel. And then the other side, lift the hips up a couple of inches, set them over to the right. First, create a little space in the backs of the legs, so creating perpendicular space behind them. Opening the arms in a cactus or a T shape. You can roll the knees over to the left. And if that feels like too much on your spine, again, for me, my right hip is a little bit different. It feels a little different, so I'm going to cushion with my towel here or the pillow. Eyes gaze toward the ceiling in a softness, almost like you're looking from the occipital lobe. Start from the back of your brain, then letting your energy suction gently toward the ceiling. Nice. It feels so good. It's enjoyable. I hope you enjoy it. And then if you like breathing in, you can start to rotate the neck. So letting that gaze help guide your neck safely to the right, or just stay where you are, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. I feel more tightness in my right shoulder, right side of neck, so this feels a bit more delicate. Breathing in, I'm taking care, and breathing out. Bring the neck back to center, release from the twist, draw the knees into the chest, just rock from side to side. Take any movements that you feel your body is calling for, and you can roll upright or you can roll to the side and come to sit as you like. We'll take just a few moments in a still place. Even if there's noise around you, welcome that. You're centered. Staying with your breath. Thanking yourself very much for taking time. Stay here as long as you like. Otherwise, bring the palms to touch. Namaste.